as a means to make her split with the royal family sound understandable and relatable, as opposed to self-serving and calculating. Meghan makes it sound like she didn't know what she was getting into.
You're marrying the monarchy. What did you think it was going to be like?
I will say I went into it naively because I didn't grow up knowing much about the royal family. My mom even said to me a couple months ago, she said, did Diana ever do an interview? Now I can say, yes, a very famous one, but my mom doesn't even know that, right?
But you were certainly aware of the royals.
Of course.
And if you're going to marry a royal, then you would do research about what that would mean.
Well, I didn't do any research about what that would mean.
You didn't do any research?
No. I've never looked up my husband online. I just didn't feel a need to, because everything that I needed to know he was sharing with me, right? Or everything that we thought I needed to know he was telling me. I will say
Meghan modifies her statement either because she knows it isn't true or because she knows there are different opinions about this. Either way, it doesn't sound assertive. With her overly convincing nodding, her claim has a preference for agreement, same as the word right.
I went into it naively. Right.
Preferences for agreement make disagreement uncomfortable and/or impossible. She says she didn't know much about the family, which indicates that she did know something, just not much. However, she defines that. Conveniently, she doesn't tell us.
Because I didn't grow up knowing much about the royal family.
By alluding to the famous interview with Diana, Meghan can make Diana's situation sound comparable to hers, which she has an interest in, considering the criticism she faces. This interest explains why her intonation indicates reluctance when Oprah says this.
Right.
But you were certainly aware of the royals.
Of course.
And if you...
Interestingly, Meghan says of course, while shaking her head no. Meghan's intonation and body language foreshadow her denial of Oprah's suggestion.
Well, I didn't do any research about what that would mean.
You didn't do any research.
Before she makes the unreliable claim.
I've never looked up my husband online.
Which isn't only unreliable in itself, but also unreliable because she since revealed that she literally asked a friend who Harry was.
And then she sent me an email saying, I know you said you're single, and a friend of mine asked about you, and maybe you'd like to meet him. And I said, who is it? And she said, it's Prince Has. And I said, who's that?
So she wanted to know who he was, but she didn't Google him. Sure. That must be because she had other priorities that sound just as reliable.
I didn't know much about him, and so the only thing that I had asked her when she said she wanted to set us up was, I had one question. I said, well, is he nice? Because if he wasn't kind, it didn't seem like it would make sense. And so we went and...
With such modest criteria, I guess she wouldn't have cared if Harry had been an unemployed renovation worker, right?
Right.
By downplaying her knowledge about Harry, she can avoid criticism that she only started dating Harry because of his status, in theory. Meghan's unreliable persuasion continues.
And what it would mean to be a part of that family. You didn't give it a lot of thought?
No, we thought about what we thought it might be.
Yeah? Which is, that's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't fully understand what the job was, right?
Oprah's asking Meghan, personally, what she thought to herself. Meghan, however, shifts pronoun. She says, we thought about, not I thought about. This association with Harry indicates that Meghan finds the question uncomfortable and is looking for a way to answer it without holding herself accountable or solely accountable.
No, we thought about...
The pause indicates that Meghan's hesitant about what to say, because the last thing she wants is to make it sound like she knew what she went into. That would contradict her victim narrative.
What we thought it might be. I didn't fully understand what the job was, right?
With her rising intonation, she's asking, not stating, before she claims that she didn't fully understand what the job was. Fully indicates that she did know something, just not fully, however she defines that. With right, she's once again asking, not stating, and she's going for Oprah's agreement, even though she's explained very little. Oprah doesn't know, that's why she's asking. So Meghan's right is there to control the conversation, to steer the conversation towards the conclusions that Meghan wants the audience to draw. Meghan's speech behavior indicates that she's very careful about protecting herself, protecting her victim narrative at all costs. In the following, Meghan associates with Americans to make her narrative seem relatable.
But I think there was no way to understand what the day-to-day was going to be like.
Yeah.
And it's so different because I didn't romanticize any element of it, but I think as Americans especially, what do you know about the royals? It's what you read in fairy tales.
Right.
You think is what you know about the royals, right? When the perception and the reality are two very different things, and you're being judged on the perception, but you're living the reality of it, there's a complete misalignment.
Here, it should be noted that before she even married Harry, she seemed to be quite aware of the judging part.
I think I can very safely say, as naive as it sounds now, having gone through this learning curve in the past year and a half, I did not have any understanding of just what it would be like. And I think we were just hit so hard at the beginning with a lot of mistruths that I made the choice to not read anything, positive or negative. It just didn't make sense, and instead we focused all of our energies just on nurturing our relationship.
On us, yeah.
On us.
This doesn't sound like someone who went into it naively.
I will say I went into it naively.
Furthermore, in the following, Meghan's statements are exposed for what they are, entitlement disguised as a victim narrative, because what Meghan calls problems aren't problems at all. Notice how Meghan portrays herself as the self-sacrificing victim, instructing the audience to think highly of her.
For me, I mean, I wrote letters to his family when I got there saying, I am dedicated to this. I'm here for you. Use me as you'd like. There was no guidance as well, right? You know, unlike what you see in the movies, there's no class on how to speak, how to cross your legs.
Nobody prepares you.
No, I mean, but even down, but even down to like the national anthem. That's me late at night Googling, what's the national, I've got to learn this.
One of the best ways to disguise self-serving motives is to pretend to advocate for other people, self-aggrandizement masked as altruism. Thus, Meghan claims that she shares this because there are so many people who are afraid to voice that they need help. She says that she and Harry hear a lot of stories like Meghan's, while indirectly praising herself by saying that it takes so much courage to admit that you need help. However, with Meghan's words about the mental health series, she makes sure to mention that they're working on a financial motivation for sharing this is more than hinted at. If these stories are similar to Meghan's, I don't know what that says about the reliability of them. Once again, we see that association with other people is Meghan's way of authenticating her statements, even though association doesn't prove anything. Try to use that persuasion technique in a courtroom. Meghan also doesn't mind showing if she isn't happy about something Harry says. In the following, notice Meghan's corrections and Harry's nervousness as a result. The warning signs were there right from the very beginning.
How did you first meet?
Yes, we first met, we were introduced actually by a mutual friend who
we should protect her privacy and not reveal too much of that.
And but it was literally, it was through her. For us, it's an opportunity to really get to know each other without other people, you know, looking or trying to take photos on their phones and all that kind of stuff. You know, with that comes with the job, comes with the role. But where possible,
and we were able to really get to know each other that way. But also then to go and